Good afternoon. Today is the 21st of November. I'm afraid the weather is pretty bad, and yes, I have activated the light over and above the standard automatic lights in this car, which is why we have a buzzer going off. So this is yet another very vague, not particularly interesting and probably quite boring vlog, although recently quite a few of you seem to have enjoyed the ones we've done, which is very nice. This video will go up quite soon after it's recorded for those of you who are on the set Toledo and Rover 45 V6 channel membership tiers. The rest of you will have to wait a little bit for it. One thing that I've recently been asked by quite a lot of people is, what has happened to the Rover 45 V6? Is it still broken? Has it been fixed? We'll get into that in a second, but I also want to say we'll have a second part of the video, which is in response to something Ian Seabrook has put out recently, which talks about mental health and also comments that people receive on automotive YouTube channels, because it's actually one of the best videos that he's ever made as far as I'm concerned, even though I think he did it in this little bit of a sort of a hurrying thing. I think it's one of the best ones personally that he's ever made. It's very good points in that video. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So what are the Rover 45 V6? Well, as you know, on 1st of November the car broke down. It just suddenly shut off whilst I was driving. The engine stopped, a warning light came on, and I had it recovered up to near my mother's house, where I could then go and get her car and use that, which I have been doing along with the Volvo. The car is still unfortunately broken. It's almost 3 weeks later, and we have changed the crank position sensor. The first time we went there, unfortunately we were supplied the wrong part, which is just a unfortunate human error. It happens, doesn't matter. And so then we went back, which was yesterday. Mr. Partridge and I. Mr. Partridge has been helping me out with such things, just going through some water in this Tivoli, which is one of the main reasons why we like driving it in winter. It's got the extended ground clearance, yeah, he put the crank position sensor in, which was very kind of him. He's a very kind man, and the car still wouldn't start. So it's a brand new one. It's definitely the right part. Still wouldn't start. So the automatic gearbox warning lights on the dash, car's cranking over fine, enough power in the battery, fuel pump's fine. So at the moment we don't entirely know what the issue is. Mr. Partridge is a very busy man. He works full time, and helping me fix cars is just something he's doing out of the kindness of his heart, in his own free time. So I can't necessarily just rely upon him all the time to come do things for me straight away. He's busy. Mr. Coleman, Roach Mechanic, he's given me advice as well about it, but he's also very busy, and he lives 125 miles away. He can't get down here for a number of weeks. So from that point of view, yeah, the car is broken and it won't start. It's some sudden rain in my mother's house, and the neighbours are starting to get a bit curious as to what's going on. Obviously I'm allowed to have a car there that's MOT, taxed and insured, which it is, just on the road. There's no parking restrictions there, so I can leave it there if I want to. They're just curious as to know what's going on, which is okay. It's maybe none of their business, but I have had a little word with one of them, and there we go. So that's that. I would like to see it fixed, but at the moment we've got this car. SsangYong's working fine. It's very good for going through these sort of deeper puddles which seem to be appearing on the road at the moment. The Mercedes are still working, that's fine. So for the longer journeys I tend to use that. Volvo's doing well as well. It's had its cam belt done and a service. I've even had people offer to buy it from me, which I have been refusing because, well, I like it too much, and I want to keep it. Keep it for the time being. So that's what we're doing. We've already made a video actually about that particular thing on the Very Vague Vlogs. Let's now discuss something that Ian Seabrook has started on his channel. So he made a video a few days ago, which one of bits of the video. It wasn't the whole video, but it was talking about mental health, particularly you know, the mental health of people who I think the underage is 45, and the fact that actually suicide is a really big deal, and also how deeply we as people who make car videos get affected by negative and positive comments. Now, you shouldn't be kind of, in a way, just too worried about somebody who says something who doesn't necessarily know you. Most people who actually leave comments on my channel don't personally know me. That's fine. That's one of the things that you have to accept as somebody who makes YouTube videos. You don't personally know this person who might be under a false name. That's fine. I mean, there is a bit of a kind of difference between the relationship that the person has with you, even if they watch all of the videos, and they don't actually, they feel they know you because they see you all the time. And, you know, you're just a certain person off the internet who makes videos, in this case, about cars. But really, I don't know most of you. Some of you I've met, particularly those of you who supply cars. I've got to meet you, and most of you, I think all of you, have been really nice, been very kind. It's amazing to actually have someone say nice things about the cars that you have, which often happens, and also to be given cars to drive. Like, they're just one example of a car I've driven recently, the Mark II Vauxhall Cavalier Automatic. That car was in perfect condition, and I was driving it around on flooded roads on a day like this. The chap, his name is Dave, actually let me drive that. And not just that, in conditions like this. They're very rare cars now, and it's amazing to have people who just offer you their cars. They send you an email, say, I'm based in such and such a place, I've got these cars, would you like to drive them? And my answer is normally yes. I mean, obviously if they're forbidden fuel, then we don't, because we aren't talking about those, but lots of them, yeah. I had someone today offer me a car. I said absolutely, he doesn't live too far away, that's very kind. Equally, people just being really kind about the videos that they make about shambolic shuffles. The ones recently, some of them were very difficult because it's very difficult filming 22 half-hour parts over a 3-day period, which takes, if you were to maybe film for 12 hours solid, that's how long it would take. Well, obviously, you know, I can't do that. My brain would explode. But it's hard work. It's hard work for anybody making those, and you know, the unique way, should I say, that I do them. Some people, it's not really their cup of tea. They don't like that kind of stuff, and it's fine. I don't mind, but that's the way that I've chosen to do it. You know, there are lots of people saying, well, I can't get to the show for, you know, various reasons, and you know, this is quite an amazing document of virtually every car that there's there, and you know, that's really nice of you to say that, because that is the intention that I have. Even if it's not the best films, commentary is very often inaccurate, the camera's sometimes pointing the wrong way, and that kind of stuff, and very massive gaps in my knowledge. And even if I do sometimes know stuff, I still get it wrong. It just happens. You want to say one thing and something else comes out of your mouth, and that's really common. I think anybody making automotive YouTube videos would agree. Sometimes you just get things wrong. There was a gentleman who contacted me all the way from Australia, wrote me an email and said I got something wrong on one of the stands in a 6 video, and the thing is, I didn't deliberately do that. It seemed to me kind of, from what he said, you know, he said subsequently, he said he wasn't missing intention, but it sometimes seems like that when somebody writes something. It can seem like the intention that they have is a very negative intention. Just the way that it works. My lady wife and I have been discussing this today. The written medium doesn't adequately communicate very often all the kind of emotion that's there and all the meaning. It's maybe only about 70% of what is actually there. So if you don't want to appear sort of very negative or critical, you do have to kind of phrase it in a way that actually somebody is receptive to it, and that they don't maybe get upset. And unfortunately, I did get upset. Ian Seabrook has talked about how it upsets him to receive these negative comments, and it also upsets me. Now, I'm not immune to the corrections. I have a hilarious situation with 2 Fiats I drove recently, and both I got the information about the parking light switch wrong. I then had on one video 4 or 5 different comments saying the same thing, and I kind of expected it. I left myself open for it. But if you are going to leave a correction about it, it just might be helpful if you kind of read the comments section to see if someone else has also said the same thing. I'm not saying don't say it, because it was really helpful to me actually. I already knew anyway, because after I got back and filmed the videos, I was told by the owner that's what had happened. And the problem is that I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I kind of spend a long time trying to write an explanation in the video as to why I seem so ignorant about something, or do I leave it? And in that instance I thought, well, it's only a very minor thing, I think I'll leave it. Maybe that was a wrong decision about it. I should have put like a correction in and kind of said that actually I do now know what happened, it's just at the time I didn't. And you know, there are some things which are quite helpful. You know, if I say I don't know something, that means I generally don't know. So one of the comments I got, which is quite funny actually, on one of the Shambolic Shuffles, is that I spent a long time looking at shoes, and I just kept saying I don't know about this, viewers. Now, on the same video, a gentleman just said, oh, it's really, your filming's really good, like the camera angles are perfect. So if you get that, well, who do you actually believe? Because one person said exactly the opposite, something about the same content. So what exactly do you do? That is just something that we have to deal with. I'm not saying that, you know, if you sounds really bad as it says, or like, you know, you have genuinely got something wrong. We don't go around sort of intending to make deliberate mistakes. That's not really what we do. We make mistakes because we don't know, or you know, in the moment we just slip of the tongue, we get something wrong, and that just happened. It happens all the time, particularly with, you know, the levels of detail which we try to remember. These massive shows that we go to, like the NEC, there's so many cars there. You can't possibly hope not just to know everything about them, but to get everything right about them, even if you do know about them. It's just not possible. And it goes to virtually any video that you make. There are multiple opportunities to get things wrong, to delivery to go bad, to make mistakes. And I do hope that you understand that we are, in our own way, trying our best. We're trying to do that, but if we like certain things and you don't like them, that's okay. You know, just be very kind about it if you are going to say, or as the interviewer says, just go and watch another video. The world doesn't really need too much more negativity at the moment. There are people who have sort of far more problems than whether or not you got something wrong on a video, or you have a different opinion from someone else about a car. There are really quite a lot more important things than that. So I think that's it for now. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we'll see you again soon for more probably inaccurate and rambling music. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below.